So, all right.
That's a creative acronym, no question about that.
We will let people decide what they think about that. Okay, John, back to our top story today. Reports that Border Patrol agents are effectively releasing COVID-positive migrants into the U.S. population. And now the Biden administration is facing growing calls to keep Trump-era immigration policies in place, including Title 42. Texas Representative Pete Sessions joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being here. Tell us about what you're seeing happen in your state as we're seeing these reports of local authorities warning residents on the ground that these migrants are being released. They're staying at local hotels. They're visiting restaurants in some cases, and they have tested positive for COVID-19.
Sandra, this is exactly the point we've been trying to make for some period of time since back in January. About January literally 20th, when this started occurring, we've now had over 1 million illegal immigrants who've come to the border, who have been accepted in. But what happened is that they were processing them so fast that they simply brought them in and did not care whether they had COVID or other communicable diseases. They did not take the time to make sure that they were vetted properly. And this is what happens with over 7 months, when there was an estimate of about 14% of these people, and this is an old number, but it goes back a few months, about 14% of them did have COVID, and they released them onto airports, into schools, into hotels, as you suggest. This is a serious problem. When an American citizen is required to take a positive COVID test, and yet we just bring anyone in the country. So, in particular, we're worried about these urban areas that will have large numbers of people directly related to these COVID patients.
You know, there's the Catholic Charities Respite Center they're seeing more migrant spikes in intakes, of course. They're asking Border Patrol to please hold off. Stop this because we don't have enough room. We have to limit the number of people in here. They're having to take health precautions. They don't know who's coming in, who could be carrying the virus. And when it comes to stopping these migrants, the police in many cases have their hands tied. Their resources are tied up. In the case of La Jolla, where on the side of the screen you're seeing a live picture up in La Jolla, Texas. This is one of the sergeants there saying that there's not a lot we can do. Watch.
If they want to leave and get in a car, we cannot stop them. We don't have no proof that they are positive for the COVID-19. And until there's a mandate that gives us the authority to do that, we cannot stop these people from moving.
That is just a brutal reality for the police, for the residents.
Well, it's important that we remember that elections have consequences. And the President of the United States, the day he took the oath of office, he agreed that he would well and faithfully execute the laws of the country, drove straight down to the White House and signed all these orders, getting around established law that was there to protect America and American citizens and American jobs. And what this president and the Democrat Party have done is make sure that they have blocked any efforts to have a discussion about this and to bring over 1 million people illegally into the country. Yeah. Not a surprise to me that the COVID infection is roaring in this country again.
The numbers are staggering, and it's not just Texas where these migrants are being released to the public. We know that they are being shipped into other states as well. So that COVID concern is a reality for many other states. Just as a bit of the public safety warning to residents on the ground in La Jolla about those migrants being released into the population. They said officers also observed that a group of 20 to 30 people staying at a local hotel there were out and about, the majority of them without masks. It was also learned that people being detained by Border Patrol that showed symptoms of the illness or were positive for COVID were being quarantined by the agency. And then later they were given custody to Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley, which I just mentioned, to be placed in hotels in the McAllen area, as well as La Jolla. That is a public safety notice that the residents had to receive and adhere to on the ground there. Do you have any confidence that Joe Biden will look at this situation and reverse course on Title 42 and re-implement some of those Trump-era policies that were working?
I have every reason to believe that common sense would dictate that. We have been attempting to let the president know that this would be a beginning of what he should do. But once again, this is a political consideration of the Democratic Party to get as many illegal people into this country, for us to take responsibility for them, and they could really care less about the health and safety and welfare of the American citizens in this regard. And so the president is choosing to do what he does, and we are deeply disappointed. This will not go away, and it will be an issue that will continue until we re-win back the House of Representatives and defeat Nancy Pelosi.
Congressman Pete Sessions of Texas, appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.